Yo, 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 good morning. Welcome to another episode. I believe we are episode 12 of Snake Cinema Podcast. I'm your host, Prince Elias, and I'm excited about today's podcast. I'm excited about the next couple of podcasts because a lot is going on. But thank y'all for tapping in. Good morning, and thank y'all for accommodating my time changes. We're going to be talking about that more in a second because for some reason my kin folks like to wait till last minute to ask me to do stuff, and they don't understand that Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings are my podcast times, and it's my time. It's my time to do what I want to do, and it's just crazy, 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 crazy. So for the second weekend in a row, my schedule had to change last minute. So thank y'all for accommodating this 30-minute lateness. But let's see, Keisha, Keys, good morning. Thank you for tapping in. Bosa, El Papa, what's up? Thank you for tapping in. Rock, my homie Rock. Y'all see that avatar? Y'all see that AI avatar? Yeah. We've been playing around with AI all week. It's been so much fun. I think I might change my YouTube icon as well to one of the AI art. C Jones, what up? What up? What up? Okay, good luck on your driving school. Good luck. Thanks for tapping in though. Be safe out there on these streets. Of course, of course. Um, I got you, C. Jones, because I really do love the Halloween backdrop. So I'll think of something for Christmas once I get the ideas of what I want for fall slash Thanksgiving slash Christmas. I'll hit you up on net. But yes, yes, welcome everybody. Ro, welcome. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nah, I'm a speed demon. You can't be in driver school and be a speed demon. You gotta hold off the speeding. Be a good driver until you get your license. Then you can be a speed demon. um, but yes, thank y'all everybody for tapping in. And let's get started. Today's episode of Snake Cinema Podcast is brought to you by Mutation Station and Lucy Land Ball Pythons, the best breeders and rodent feeders in the Mid South and surrounding areas. Check them out on Instagram and on their Morph Market. They're combined on Morph Market under Mutation Station. So some of those snakes on there are Lucy Land Productions, but just follow them on Morph Market, follow them on Instagram, follow them everywhere. They got some bangers coming. They've had a lot of babies, a lot of clutches. Hatch one snake did. I went by their house and one snake did 12 eggs, 12 babies. Yeah, it's a lot of them. So they're gonna have some heat and they all fire. They're gonna have some heat available. So tap in, tune in. Of course, they're always the channel sponsors, and I'm super excited. Yes, life update. Speaking of Mutation Station, my grandkids, the babies, the three babies, Wonder, Magic, and Dream, are still there. Kayla told me that one did shed out, so we're just waiting on the other two. They're probably going to shed today, if not last night, today or tomorrow. Um, but one did shed out already, their first skin, and so after all three shed out, they're going to separate them in individual tubs and offer their first meals. So I'm super excited. My grandbabies are growing and getting their life together, but I can't wait. Uh, when I can't wait after next weekend to be able, after a couple of meals, bring them home because I will be getting my hatchling rack definitely next Saturday for sure. So I cannot wait to be able to bring them home with me and care for them. But thank you again, Mutation Station and Lucy Land, for taking care of those babies and for being my channel sponsors, being my family, being my rodent providers, and being my friends above all else. And also, speaking of which, um, the next 2 weekends, I will keep y'all updated, but the podcast might be pushed back to it might stay at 9:30 time slot, 9:30 instead of 9. It's just a 30-minute difference because I will be coming to you live from NARBC St. Louis. Now, I did have to adjust my um schedule due to car issues. Like I have to rent a car next weekend because my car is still in the shop. Um but so I had to cancel my hotel last night, which it was a bummer because I was going to stay Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I'm cutting it short. I'm only going to NARBC St. Louis on Saturday. So I'm going to wake up bright and early, probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, drive those 4 hours to get there, be there when the doors open. Because I had bought VIP pass because I was going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Be there when the doors open so I could still record content, still go live on YouTube here, do my vlogs, my pictures, see my family. I can't wait to see Celtic Balls and other people like pip stalkers and other breeders who are closer to the area. So I can't wait to see some of my family and talk to them, hang out with them for a little bit, and then I'm gonna drive right back that evening. I'm gonna be tired, but I'm gonna drive right back that evening. But my goal, besides the content for and seeing my friends at NARB St. Louis, is to get a hatchling rack because for the past 3 reptile shows I've been to, they haven't had any. Well, the Repticon in Memphis, they had some, but it was scary. It was janky. It looked like those racks weren't stable, and it was just a hot mess. It looked like whoever built them did not know what the fuck they were doing, and I just don't want to risk putting my babies in there. So I'm going to. I know at NARBC there's like several enclosure people or breeders who make enclosures who make great quality. There's Gecko Junkie. There's Sea Serpents, um, Reptile Basics, and what was the other one I saw that's gonna be there? Brace Exotics. All of those make incredible enclosures, incredible PCV enclosures, incredible snake rack systems. So I'm gonna get a hatchling rack from one of those places. While I'm there, that's the main goal. I was gonna get a snake, but due to my car issues and me having to pay for the repairs and everything, and that's why I had to cancel my hotel and only be there for one day only. Um, so I can't get the snake that I wanted from Celtic. I'm super bummed about it. It was a Mojave, no, a leopard phantom. Y'all know I love leopards as much as I love blackheads, and I'm very bummed that I could not get that female. But maybe in the future I could get another snake from them. Maybe if they don't sell that snake at the show, I could get it later. But I just gotta a life is life and adulting is adulting, and I got to get this car fixed. But also another reason why I had to and cut cancel my hotel in St. Louis and cut this trip short, besides the car issues, is that my sister and I are going to Disney World the following weekend for her birthday. So I just had to make some cut some costs because I can't miss my sister's birthday. We've been planning this trip for a whole year. So priorities. I had to sacrifice one trip, and so St. Louis ended up being that trip. But like I said, I'm still gonna make it. It's just gonna be Saturday only. I'm not spending the night. I'm not doing the entire weekend. But I've already paid the VIP pass, so I'm gonna go get the badge and everything. But it is what it is. Adulting, life happens. But I'm still excited. I'm still excited to see people who are going to be there, breeders from the West Tank Clan and V Unit who are going to be there, and just see my family, and say hey to everybody. But yeah, it's just like I said, life is life, and priorities got to be made. Let's see who else in because I neglected the chat. Kent, good morning. Thank you for tapping in. You already know Mr. Father Don Dizzle on the way to the bank. Okay, well, thank you for listening, and go on, let me borrow five. Go on, let me borrow $5. Just kidding. Um, but yes. So, let me see. Is there any more updates before I get started on the reviews? But yes, Next weekend, I will be going live doing a podcast from NARBC St. Louis. And the following weekend, I'm gonna try my best not to cancel that podcast. That's the weekend of the 18th. Um, I might just go live from our hotel at Disney World and chat with y'all and give y'all a recap of the NARBC show. St. Louis on that episode while I'm at Disney. But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great time. So both the next two podcasts will be live outside of Memphis. And it's gonna be fun. I'm excited. Oh, good morning, Nicole. Big sister Nicole. While working out. Okay, get your workout on. Workout for both of us. We gotta be strong in here. And I hope that your journey with the vegan is going well. God's still working on me. God's still working on me because y'all know with my allergy, I was forced vegan. It wasn't by choice, but luckily I can still eat fish and chicken. So I haven't fully converted, but I'm working on it. I really do want to get my health and my life together. So I might need to just slowly but surely ease away from chicken. Um, I might just do pescatarian. I'm be honest. I can't do fully vegan. I got to do something pescatarian. But good luck, Nicole. I hope you continue on and you got this. You got this. You've done it. What was that breast cancer walk you did where what was it over 30 some miles, like 60 some miles? If you could do that, you can go full vegan. Cause you're good with those type of challenges. I believe in you, big sister. Oh, okay. Keisha trying to join us. Okay. Come join this vegan lifestyle. Well, I don't know if you can fully be vegan, Keisha, because you in the house with ENT and the food they be posting. Oh my gosh. The food they be posting is I'm gonna have to drive to Georgia. I'm gonna have to drive to Georgia and eat some of their seafood that they be making. Cause boy, oh boy, Orlando, he just keep posting the fire foods, the fire snakes and the fire foods. 60 miles, that's what it was. Okay. See, I'm still at 5Ks, Nicole. I just um I just signed up for the St. Jude 5K this year. I've done it in the past. I've done the 5K and the 10K, but I fell off in 2020 because y'all know COVID, everything got canceled. I gained a lot of weight. So it's been a minute since I've done any long distance race, but I signed up for this year's 5K and I'm excited. I'm definitely going to walk the whole thing, but I'm excited because I love going through the St. Jude Hospital, seeing the kids cheer on the runners. It's a great vibe, the energy, everything. Like St. Jude Marathon, Memphis Marathon weekend is top notch and it's so much fun. So I am excited. And even with the 5Ks, the 10Ks, the half marathons, full marathons, those medals are huge that you get when you cross the finish line. So I cannot wait. I'm excited to add another medal to my running slash walking because I walk mostly collection. But yeah, you said 60 miles. Woo. If you could do 60 miles, you can be vegan. Cause your Nicole, your mental game is strong. I haven't got God is still working with me. I haven't gotten there yet, but your mental game, when you're determined to do something, you do it and you show and approve. So I commend you on that. I'm gonna be like you when I grow up. uh, uh, oh wow. Yeah. I understand that. Oh, that's one thing about long distance racing. I've done St. Jude, I've done Disney, and I've done the rock and roll series in Nashville. The worst thing about these long distance races is the porta potties. I just be holding my bladder until the end because I refuse, and then I run into a Starbucks or something if there's a store nearby on the race course. Cause baby, But anywho, let's go ahead and get started. This review isn't going to be too long because it was a documentary, but I'm going to talk about this recent documentary I watched. I think it was like Tuesday. It was Tuesday. I watched it, and I loved it. It was amazing. So spoiler for that rating, but I want to talk more about it because I feel like it should be highlighted and we need to talk about it more. Um, and then also, I'm going to give y'all my first impressions on the Indie Memphis Film Festival. We have our own film festival. This was my first year going. Come to find out, I think they celebrated 25 years. So they've been doing it for a minute, but this was my first time going because I was a special guest to one of the directors who premiered there. And so I want to give y'all my review of the actual my experience of the film festival, as well as talk about the finishing product of the documentary I was in because I did not see it before the premiere day, and so I want to give a little review on that and show y'all what I think, being someone who was interviewed for a documentary and seeing the final product at the end. But we will get to that in a second. Our first review, go ahead and get my banner ready. It's called Kokomo City. Now, Kokomo City is streaming on demand, so you gotta rent it. But it's in multiple spots. Where I rented it was on YouTube for $6.99, 2-day rental, so it wasn't bad. And it was officially released back in July of this year. It's directed by an artist go by D Smith. And it was distributed by Magnolia Pictures, and it grossed at the box office when it did premiere back in July, 118,728. So that does not include the streaming rentals like what I did, my $6.99. It does not include that. That was when they did their run at film festivals, and they were released in small theaters um around the United States when it first premiered this summer. So it was a limited release in theaters, and then it went straight to streaming to where you could rent the movie. So I'll be surprised if they made way more than that after all the rentals. And the production company, I'm gonna go ahead and shout out the production company because it too was black owned, fully black owned, and fully queer funded production company called Human Grad Productions and Couch Potato Pictures. Both of those are black owned productions and queer owned productions. So I wanted to shout them out because we don't get many of those in Hollywood. Um, and so I feel like we have to shout out our own and support our own. And after watching this documentary, it was amazing. I loved it. And I just want to give it credit to where credit is due. Now, according to IMDb, the synopsis of this documentary is that four Black transgender sex workers tell their stories in intimate and candid interviews. And that's basically what it was. They interviewed four different Black trans women, specifically, who happen to be sex workers, and they tell their story about survival and the struggles of being a sex worker and being trans. Most of them did not choose that life. You know, the life chose them because they were homeless as teenagers. Like, as soon as they came out, their parents kicked them out, and they had nowhere to go, no food to eat. So they had to resort to doing what they had to do to care for themselves. So it was very riveting stories. And each woman was amazing and had a different perspective. Like, you had a woman who pretty much was angry at the world and hated all society and was just like, fuck this shit, you know. And then you had one who was more optimistic, happy, cheerful. She was like the comic relief. She cracked me up the entire throughout her interviews because she was dancing, singing, and even though she didn't like her current circumstances, she was optimistic of the future and had a goal and plan of getting out of the sex work life, and to start her start anew, basically. And all these women come from different places. So you had a trans woman from New York, you had one from LA, from California, um, I think two from Atlanta. Yeah, something like that. So they were from different walks of life and different places. So the director and cinematographer, the crew had to travel to different places to record them and do these interviews. So kudos to them. I also love this documentary because um, it was shot in black and white. Speaking of the cinematography was great. It was amazing, but it was shot all in black and white. And I just feel like seeing black people in that intimate sort of view with the black and white and instead of color, that aesthetic was just it was very intimate. It was very creative, and you don't get that a lot these days in 2023. Hell, you hardly get photographers shooting in black and white in 2023. Everybody wants, the popping colors and the high intense contrast and the high highlights and things like that. I'm not going to go on a tangent, but photography nowadays, I'm starting to see a lot of people overblowing pictures, like kind of like how my shot is right now because the sun is shining and I look like a highlighter in the face. That's basically what a lot of people's photography is nowadays. So it felt different, it felt good, and it felt amazing to see a full documentary in a different way, kind of like old school, but it was still nice. Um, it just gave a very nostalgic aesthetic. Um, the stories are very raw, and I will get to one story in particular, but and they had a lot of this documentary had a lot of quotables, a lot of quotes that I just loved. But one trans woman in particular, she pretty much predicted her future in a sad, sad way. And by the time I did my research and read up on, where are they now and stuff, I damn near cried because what she said in the documentary ended up coming true, unfortunately. But I also love this documentary because it wasn't just one-sided. You didn't just talk to the trans women. You talked to even the men that love them, date them, sleep with them. Some men, and the fact that some of these black men were vulnerable to be on camera to talk about it. Like one trans woman had her boyfriend, and these are men who are considered cisgender, heterosexual, like, but they own their truth. They're like, I'm attracted to these women. I love them for them, and I want them for them. And they even interviewed a guy who was questioning himself. He was because he just happened to find a trans woman that he was attracted to, and even though he never dated her or been with her, he started to question who he was. And I feel like this documentary, I feel like the director and them really gave a safe space for these black men to speak their truth, to say how they felt. Even the man who kind of questioned himself and feared what the future holds for him and his dating life and things like that. I feel like this documentary did not villainize them. It did not sensationalize them. It gave them a voice and it was kind of therapeutic for them to say, to just wear it on their sleeve, like, hey, I love these women. And even though there's a stigma and people hate and people might call me gay or whatever, this is who I am. This is the woman I love. And I'm going to live in my truth. And I love that. It was two guys on there. Um, I don't know if they were trans men, bi men, or cisgendered, but they cracked me up. They were sitting in the car being interviewed, and one guy said, "Look, if you like dudes, you like dudes. If you like trans women, you like trans women. Like wear that on your chest, wear that on your sleeve, like." And he said this one thing. He said, if my son ever come out to me as gay, I'm not gonna disown him. I'm just gonna teach him how to fight because I know this world is a cruel world and I know he will be bullied. So yeah, my son may be gay, but he gonna whoop your ass. So don't try. And so that cracked me up. I love those guys. Those two guys, every time they showed up on the screen, I was laughing. Um, but it was great. Oh, Sean, thank you for tapping in. Thank you. Um, but yeah, that documentary was so beautiful. It was raw. It was um it was just very, very well done, well shot. I felt, even though all four women were different, all four women had different personalities, different walks of life, and different stories, I felt sympathized and empathized with every last one of them. And it was just it was a beautiful film. Like I said, it's on VOD, so it's probably on several different streaming services, but I rented it off YouTube for 6.99. It's called Kokomo City, spelled like on my banner right here. Um, and it was great. I would suggest this for everybody, not just people in the alphabet mafia to watch this, but everybody, especially cisgender people, because when you hear from people in my community, may especially a documentary like this, maybe you'll understand us a little more and just empathize, sympathize with the fight, because everybody has their own fight, everybody has their own struggles. Straight people got their own fights and struggles, gay people got their own fights and struggles, trans people got their own fights and struggles. So why are we fighting and hating each other and pulling each other down and bullying each other? We just need to have empathy. I think that's the whole gist of it. Have more empathy. But it was a great documentary. I love it. I give this a 10 out of 10 as far as docs go, especially this year that I've watched, and I highly recommend it to anybody. Um and yeah, oh, and again, before I quit, there was a woman on there, and I want to get her name right. It was Coco the doll. That's what she went by. And she said in the documentary, I want to get out this life. I want to get out of the sex work life because every friend of mine has died, and they've all died in the hands of their lovers or their customers, like men in the closet, closeted men, down low men who hate themselves and don't and are ashamed of themselves, and they will hire these trans women. um they will hire these trans women for sex work, but then deny them if they saw them in real life. And she said that she really wants, to follow her dreams in music and do other things and just get out of being in the sex work life because it's so dangerous for them. And majority of black trans women who died by the hands of their lovers or their customers. And unfortunately, right after this documentary premiered, back in July, a couple of months later, she was murdered. She was killed, and they're suggesting that it was from someone who was a paying customer, a guy who was on the down low, who hated himself, who was just not right, and he murdered her. And so RIP to her, RIP to the queen. But that's what a lot of black trans women have to go through on a daily, even if they not sex workers. There have been black trans women who were murdered who wasn't sex workers. They were working regular jobs, but they were dating men who did not honor them, love them, or respect them enough. And when word got out, or when people found out who their partners were, they went into a fit of rage, and it happens. A lot of black trans women are murdered, unfortunately, by the men who claim to love them. But then again, there's a lot of black women, period, who are murdered by their partners. If you look at statistics of um, whether you're trans, straight, gay, most murdered women are by the hands of the people who love them. So it's unfortunate. And after watching that doc and hearing her story and knowing how it ended in real life, it was sad. It was sad. I damn near cried once it ended and they did the end credits and they showed all the women. It's it was sad, but it was still beautiful doc, and I recommend it for anybody. Let me come back to the chats. I'm sorry, y'all. I neglected y'all. Keisha and Nicole talking about cooking. Y'all making me hungry. I have not had breakfast yet. And again, Sean, Yo Yo Reptiles, thank you for tapping in, tuning in. I appreciate your support. And shout out to Sean. I'm gonna have to make my way to Texas to his shop. He's doing big things with that reptile shop slash zoo of his, and I just love watching his growth and his journey on um on social media. But I'm gonna have to make my way down there. When I make my way to Texas to see Candy and them, I'm gonna make my way down there to see you, bro, and see that shop and maybe feed Bowser or Nigel. I love me some Nigel. Let's see. I'm looking it up now. Love who you. Thank you, Keisha. Yes, you're right. If there were less stigma, yep, these women would be safer. And if it was less stigma, most of them wouldn't have to resort to sex work, to their lifestyle. Because, like I said, most of those women were kicked out of homes when they were like 16. So they had nowhere to go. They had no family to take care of them because the family was super religious and did not support them or love them. And how you gonna feed yourself? How you gonna get a meal? You don't have an ID, you don't have a license, don't have a car. You gotta do what you gotta do, unfortunately. Yes, please check it out, Don D. I think you'll like it. I really do. It was very eye opening. At least for me. I heard people deny how dangerous it is to be a woman. More likely, her trust someone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, women and film presenting humans in general are like the biggest victims, and mainly by their lovers, their husbands, their boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, or customers. There's just it's at the end of the day, it's all misogyny. It's all misogyny, it's all white supremacy, it's a combination of a lot of things. But yeah, it is sad. It is. That's why me as a trans man, even though I'm transitioning and I don't identify as a woman, I certainly will stick up for them because I have lived that experience. Even though I did not like it and I hate it, I had lived that experience, so I understand. And even if I've never lived the experience, I still will understand because I have a mom, I have sisters, I have nieces. I've witnessed them go through a lot of the bullshits too. And it's like, I have aunties. I've witnessed men dog them out and they have the biggest and best hearts ever. So it's like, I get it. And so as a trans man, I always advocate for all women, the cis, the gays, the trans, um, the bis, definitely the bis, because they stigmatize as hell. Like, and nobody takes them seriously or validates them. Because if they date women, they're automatically lesbian. If they date a man, they're automatically straight. And it's like, no, that's not how bisexuality goes. But that's a tangent for another day. But yes, protect all women. What I'm trying to say is protect all women, especially all black women, but protect all women across the spectrum, whether you're natural born or transitioned. Um, but anywho, that is my review of Kokomo City. Great documentary. I love it. Highly recommend it for everybody. Um, so let's talk a little bit about my thoughts of the Indie Memphis Film Festival that happened last weekend. Um, because I was a part of a short film, and by short film, like 25 minutes or less, um, called Intersectionality, which was a documentary directed by my good friend Naima Overton, and the cinematographer was her friend Malik Martin. He's a great photographer and video maker. He companies hire him to go up in the mountains and shoot people. Like if a mountain climber wanted to go climb Kilimanjaro or something like that, they would hire him to be the cinematographer for stuff like that, or photographer for stuff like that. He's a dope dude. But um great content creator. But Anyways, we were the whole point of that documentary was about people in the LGBTQ community in Memphis, and basically everybody sharing their stories, what they go through, their trials, their jobs, their lives, kind of like Kokomo City. But it was a lot shorter format. It was a short, and it was in a contest for best homegrown shorts. I believe that's what it's called, documentaries. So we were going up against four different other documentaries, and I will say, as my first time going to this film festival, um, the films involved in that contest was amazing. They had one talking about interviewing and talking about these professionals, black divers who it's called splice. So there's this trick that people do when they jump into the pool, called splicing, and it's like a whole culture here in Memphis, especially in the summertime. You have black people just jumping in pools, doing all these types of tricks and stuff. And so that documentary was fun. It was funny. The people who were interviewed were hilarious, and it was just a good doc. Someone else did a documentary on Tyree Nichols, the aftermath of his murder when he was killed by those cops. Um, and it was basically showing like the protests that went on in Memphis, and around, and when Al Sharpton came and spoke at his funeral and stuff. So that was a good doc. It was also a documentary on, and all these are shorts. Again, they are like 25 minutes or shorter. Um, so for all these directors to do these interviews, come out with these contents, and then shorten it to just a small window was amazing. They really executed the shit out of that. And then there was another documentary um discussing the homelessness in Memphis and how multiple churches from different denominations come together, and they created like this home and like program to house people, homeless families, homeless children, um, in Memphis, especially during the winter times. And they've even helped get some. They interviewed one woman who was once homeless, and how this program helped her get a home for her and her children. Um, and help her get her back on her feet. And so that documentary was beautiful. I cried at the end of that. It was just a beautiful, nice um, doc. And then another one talked about the old history of a neighborhood here in Memphis called Klondike. It's like the oldest black neighborhood in Memphis, and it gave a lot of history of it, and how it went, and how basically how gentrification and integration kind of ruined that neighborhood and destroyed the schools and the homes and everything. It was a great doc, very eye opening, and I learned a lot from my city, things I did not know. I've been living in Memphis my whole life, and there were so much things I did not know about my city that I learned from all of these documentaries, like the homelessness program and things like that. So it was very good. Everything was well shot, and um, I really enjoyed myself. Now, I did not do a lot of stuff at the film festival. I pretty much just did the screenings that I was invited to, but I had such a great time that next year I am going to buy the whole weekend pass and do the entire thing, because like I said, I'm a film buff, I'm a movie nerd, I'm a movie critic. I do this on YouTube. That's the whole point of Snake Cinema Podcast. So why not support my own? Why not? I would like to one day go to Canes Film Festival or South by Southwest in Texas, or any of those big, huge film festivals that go on. But I need to support my hometown. The fact that Indie Memphis Film Festival been going on for 25 years, and I'm just now going to one, and I just went to one because I didn't even know this shit existed. Like, my eyes were open, and so I'm super excited to um to continue to support Indie Memphis Film Festival. It was a lot of fun. They did a lot of screenings honoring different Um, they had a lot of screenings showing old school movies, honoring different directors and filmmakers. So they had like one theater. We have like four different theaters that was involved in this. And so one theater played all Keenan Wayans movies to honor him one day, like on a Friday, and then another theater did celebrate the 50 years of hip hop. So every hip hop movie you can think of, urban movie you can think of, classic, they played it at another theater. And then the other two theaters were dedicated to just Memphis stuff, whether it's full-fledged movies, documentaries, short stories, um different genres. If it was made by a Memphis director or made in Memphis, they played it. And I just really, really loved it. I had a great time, and I highly recommend it to people local in my city. And even if you're close by, if you're not local, but you're close by, every October they have it. So if you like movies and you like to watch different things and expand your mind, make a trip down here. It was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun. And even though the film that I wasn't a part of didn't win the contest, every film in there was great and amazing. Everyone deserved an award. Like that shit was those directors came with it. Now, let me talk about the film that I was in. Again, it's called Intersectionality. It's directed by Naima Overton. It was 25 minutes long, and she interviewed like six of us, I want to say. She interviewed like six of us, and it was all different types of walks of life. You had trans women, you had me, a trans man, you had two lesbians, you had a gay man. I think we had one bi person. Like she really tried to encompass everybody in these interviews, and she said that she has hours upon hours of footage. Like some interviews were 2 hours long. I know ours was like 30, 45 minutes long. And that was just the interview. So she interviewed me one day, and then she came back and interviewed me a second time. Then when I took my snakes out to the Memphis Pride Festival in June, she came and shot a bunch of B-roll of me showing off my snakes and stuff. And they did make an appearance in the documentary, Jimmy and Jasmine. So she showed a lot of B-roll of me showing people the snakes at Pride, people taking pictures of them, which I loved. But out of that entire, I want to say our interview was like 45 minutes max of just the interview of me talking. She asked the questions and I'm answering. Um, Maybe two or three questions, or maybe like 2 or 3 minutes was used in the finished product. But like I said, this entire documentary was 25 minutes long. She interviewed six people, so she had to cut a lot of it out. But what she put that I said in there was exactly what I wanted to convey and wanted to come out. And it was basically me telling my story of how I've been treated as a queer person who's in the school system teaching as a teacher. Like when I first started in the school system, I was just an educational assistant, and there were teachers trying to go to the board on me because of my appearance, because I presented masculine, and they said I was confusing the kids or whatever. Of course, the Board of Education doesn't discriminate in there, and if you, to be honest, there are a lot of gay teachers in the school system, a lot. Um, but you know, I've never gotten in trouble, but the fact that certain people attempted that on me when I first got into this career, it was, it was frustrating, and it felt good to actually talk about and say how I really felt out loud in the documentary. Because I think the question she asked me was, "What are some trials or tribulations of being Black and queer um, in my profession?" And so I'm glad that she kept that answer in the doc. She didn't cut that. And also, I had specifically said that one of the reasons why I love teaching and one of the reasons why I love what I do is that a lot of kids, especially middle school age kids, come to me when they come out to me basically, and I tell all these students when they come out to me, I don't seek them, they seek me, they come to me. When they come out to me and share their stories and how they might feel away, or they might feel trans or gay or whatever, I convey to these students that will never ever out them. I will never out them to a parent. I'll never out them to another teacher. Like, and I meant that. I kept that promise, and I'm still keeping that promise to this day. And I advocate for them and I protect them. And even when other teachers, like we had a trans girl at my current school, and there were some teachers talking mad shit about her, and I went off on them. I said, if her parents don't care, why do you? Her parents know that she's and she's not medically transitioned. She's not taking hormones or anything like that, but she is dressing like a girl, and her parents allow her to, and the principal her allow her to, and there were certain teachers who were talking mad shit, and this is a child. You're talking shit about a child. And so I went ham on them. And I was like, you didn't birth her. You not her mama. So why do you care? Why do you give a damn? And so that's my role. I feel like that's my role and purpose as a teacher, to protect these children, protect all children, but specifically children in the LGBTQ community, because this world is cruel. Sometimes their biggest bullies are their parents. Sometimes their biggest bullies are their siblings. Sometimes their biggest bullies are other teachers. So I am a safe space, and I am a advocate and a protector for those children. And I'm glad that that made the documentary. That quote made the documentary, and overall it was a beautiful film. Everybody who shared their stories were amazing. Everybody, like I said, everybody come from different walks of life, different careers. There was actually another teacher. There was a lesbian in the documentary. She was also a teacher. So the way they transitioned her interviews with my interviews was like, it was chef's kiss. The editor, shout out to the editor, Chloe Jackson, you did this shit. The editor was amazing because it just ebbed and flowed perfectly with our stories. But I believe I'm going to contact Naima. I believe it's still available online to stream, and if it is, I'm going to link it all over my social medias, like my Instagrams and my stories and stuff, because I really want y'all to support this documentary, not just because I'm in it, because I'm only in it for like 2 minutes, honestly, but because it's a great short. It's a great doc, and once it's released to where you can stream it, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to be expensive. It's probably going to be like a couple of bucks. I will give y'all the links. I will send you the links, and but it was a great experience. I really enjoyed the Indie Memphis Film Festival, and I'm so happy to be a part of one of the projects there. I'm so happy to be able to experience it, and I'm definitely going to buy the full weekend pass and experience the full film festival next year, and come back and review some stuff. Um, on this podcast, because I plan on doing this podcast for a long time. I love reviewing art. I love reviewing movies. I love reviewing music. By the way, there's a bunch of new music that came out yesterday. We got to talk about it maybe next episode. Um, but I just love what I do. I love talking about the entertainment as a whole, and it's so much fun, and I enjoyed myself. So if you ever have any film festivals in your city, locals, go support it. Go support the local artists. I know South by Southwest is a big one in Texas, and I want to go there one day. In Austin, Texas. That's like one of the meccas, at least in the North America. We got Canes, we got Toronto. Toronto is another good one. Toronto Film Festival is one of those big ones. I wanna save some money and like travel and go to these different events. Um, but I will definitely always support the Memphis one, because this is home and these are my people, and I want to support their art and their creativity. Regardless of what it is, whether it's a full-fledged film or short, um, or a documentary or something with actors. I want to support everybody. I'm so sorry. I am neglecting the chat. I think Candy Kane just came in. What up, Candy? Welcome, welcome. Yes. Nikki said, "Women protect yourselves." Yes, Nikki is an advocate of protection of the pew pews. But you know what? As far as gun laws and things of that nature, I'm very much on the liberal side. However, because of I just don't believe AR-16 should be owned by anybody. That's just me. That's just me personally. However, pistols, Glocks, things of that nature, I feel like I'm starting to feel like because this world is crazy and this world is a hot mess. I feel like every responsible, sane adult should have some sort of protection. So I will agree with people like Nicole and people like Maki on that when it comes to guns and politics and stuff, especially women, especially women, especially black folks. Now, please, when I say we need protection, we need it the right way. We need to go through the classes, get the certifications. Don't be trying to get one off of the black market or one off of the pawn shops. Do it the right way. If you got a felony, hey, I can't help you with that. You should not did the crime, you know? So, maybe there's a reason why you should not own one. But for the rest of us, the civilians, yeah, this world is crazy. And with all these mass shootings and things like that, now I don't believe we should have guns in the school building. I don't believe every teacher should have one because some of these folks in these school buildings are psycho. However, we do need some protection. I will say that we need some protection, for sure, because the world is a hot mess. Or at least have a machete. If you don't want a gun, get a knife or a machete or something. Mace, something, bow and arrow. Protect yourself because it's just a hot, hot mess. Yes. Keisha said, I need to watch more documentaries. The human experience is very, yes. Documentaries are my favorite. Now, I tend to watch more true crime stuff, but I watch other things too. I like documentaries. Of old celebrities. Like, what was that documentary? It was one documentary of an old actress on HBO Max. It was an older lady. Gosh, I can't remember her name, but just seeing her, she was working in like the silent film era and the black and white film era up to like before Marilyn Monroe and them came into the scene. And to see that whole transition of Hollywood and stuff, I love watching documentaries on that, like biopics. Um, I love those type of documentaries, for sure. And so I always advocate for the documentaries. Yes, the storytelling, movies and TV shows are great. When you got good writers and good actors, they be in a bag. Um, but I think we should also hear stories from actual real life people that are closer to us. Like Hollywood, like life isn't all glitz and glamour like Hollywood with makeup and stuff. Sometimes you need to watch some good old docs to remind you that the world is real and not everything is Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Y'all about to make me go to the gym after this podcast. Talking about leg lifts and stuff. You know what? I'm not gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go to the zoo and walk because I think if you do like a full lap around the zoo, it's like a mile or a mile and a half. If you do 2 laps, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go walking at the zoo, take some pictures, get these legs moving. Got to get ready for this 5K in December. Okay, Nicole said AR-15 should not leave your house, but when Gaza happens here, we ready. You know what? You got a point there. You got a point. But yeah, I just don't. The average person. Now, if you are a veteran or Army vet, Navy vet, I feel like as long as you're mentally sane and mentally competent, there's certain weapons you should be able to keep. I do feel like that. But the average Joe, the everyday Joe who ain't never shot a pew pew in their life should not be going to get these types of shotguns and magazines and things from like Walmart or those gun shows that happen in towns and stuff like that. Like, no, I do feel like I'm not saying I'm not now when I say I'm more liberal, I'm not the liberals that say we should ban weapons. No, I'm not saying that. I'm actually a realist. I grew up and was raised on a farm where my granddad and my dad had hunting rifles and things. Um and they actually hunted. Um I and then also we got protection because people are crazy. Even though we live out in the country, we are literally like 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes from the hood. And there have been times, like there was a situation where a guy killed his girlfriend and came to our neighborhood, came out to the woods where we live, where our neighbors are all scattered because we got a bunch of land and stuff, and left her body on someone's property, like one of our neighbors' property. So I agree, we need to protect ourselves, but they're just certain. So, but we should make it harder for the bad people to get these weapons. That's what I say. I think that is possible. I think if certain countries can do outright bans or have stricter laws to where their crime rate isn't as crazy as ours, I feel like that's possible, and that's not a hard axe. I don't feel like that's unreasonable to just say make laws to make it harder for the bad guys. Now we can't stop every bad guy and we can't stop every nut psycho and deranged person, but we could limit it. We can make it to where if you gotta go through XYZ 2 steps, 4 step programs, yada yada yada, just to get something, they might rethink getting something. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you make it to where a person gotta take 10 steps, wait 6 months before they can even get a shotgun, we might not have a lot of premeditated murders. I'm just saying. Oh God, Candy, you crazy. Walking is amazing for you. We better run it. Yes, yes. That's why I like walking. That's why when I sign up for these 5Ks, I strictly just walk. I don't care if I'm the last person across the finish line. I'm still gonna get the medal. I'm still gonna get the same medal as the person who um who ran a mile in like 10 minutes. I'm still gonna get the same medal. So I'm walking that joke. I'm not running, giving myself a heart attack. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah, hilly neighborhoods. I hate hills. I try. That's why when I walk, I try to go to places where it's mostly flat. I did. I signed up for one 5K. No, it was a 10K in Nashville. And that was the day I realized that downtown Nashville is very hilly because baby, it was like every other step we was going up a hill. Every other mile marker we was going up a giant hill. I was like, that doggone it, they trying to kill me. 5Ks are supposed to be a cakewalk. It's supposed to be easy, and I'm dying. But it was still fun. It was still fun. But yeah, I can't do hills. Mm-mm. Yes, I agree, Nicole. Yes, AR-15s are made for accuracy. They are made for random shots. Nobody should just be told facts, facts, facts on facts. um, but that is it, y'all. This is a shorter episode, but it was fun. I really enjoyed the documentaries I talked about. I enjoyed the film festival, and I enjoyed the um. I just enjoy watching films. And watching these documentaries, it just felt good to hear different stories, see different perspectives, because not everybody is a monolith. And I just love the art form. I just love the art form. I love talking about it, and I really did enjoy this content. And I hope the things that I talked about, especially the first doc, Kokomo City, y'all be able to check out in your spare time. Because it's really, really a good doc, and you learn a lot. Trigger warning, not for kids. They do talk about death and things like that, and you will see a trans woman's body at the very end. It's not crazy, but at the very end, you do get a shot of a trans woman's body. Um, and so do not watch this with your kids. That's what I'm saying. Don't watch it with your kids unless your kids are like 18 and up. But it's still a great, great doc, and I recommend it. But thank y'all so much for tuning in again. Next week, I will be going live from NARBC St. Louis. Um, so I might keep the 9:30s time slot instead of 9, just in case I'm still on the road at that time. I'll just go live from my phone, but we're going live at NARBC St. Louis. And hopefully I could get Celtic Balls, Auntie and Uncle, and other people, other breathers like Tyler and stuff on the podcast. I will have my hotspot with me. So just in case. Now, the hotel when I went last year, the Wi-Fi that the hotel had was great, but I got this just in case because y'all know how going live at reptile shows are. Everybody has been through that struggle. um, but yeah, and then the following weekend I'll be going live from Walt Disney World, and so yes, I will. I look forward to it. So thank y'all for tuning in. Yes, I will send everybody the link once that the documentary that I'm in is on VOD or whatever site that she decides to put. She might just put it on the her main website that she created for the doc. So once I get that link, I will definitely send it to y'all in the group chats, or I'll DM y'all on Instagram. Thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, um, Ro. Everybody, Rock. Everybody who tuned in. Dundee. Cairo was in here for a few minutes before they went to their driving school. I love y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a great weekend. Nicole's podcast is noon. Is at noon, at least Central Time. Yes. So please tune in to Nicole's podcast. And then later on tonight, Sophisticated Ignorance with Wiz and Joey D. Um, and then Sunday, Snakes and Vegas the Rock. Tuesdays is Beyond the Scales podcast. Monday morning is Two Peas in a Podcast with Nicole and Dre. Look, go to Holly's Instagram, Texoma Exotics. Go to her Instagram. She posted the official podcasting schedule from Sunday to Saturday of everybody's podcast. So please go support, watch. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all support every weekend, and y'all just listening to me ramble about things I love. Y'all are family for life. I will see y'all next week. I'm your host, Prince Elias. This has been Snake Cinema Podcast, and I will see y'all next weekend from NARBC St. Louis. Peace out, family.